Here's the main reason why Sanji won't get Conqueror's Haki. And I'm saying this hurt because I'm a Sanji fan, but we gotta be honest. So first things first, we have to look at Sanji's past because it plays a huge role into who he is right now and who is he gonna become in the future. Sanji grew up being isolated. He was a normal human being surrounded by soldiers. His father despised him because of that. His brothers used to beat him up because they said he was weak. And the only two people that cared about him was his sister and his mother. But his mother passes away, and what happens after that becomes literally like a turning point in Sanji's life. His father put him in prison. And his father, before he put him in a prison, he said, "You are lucky that you have my blood in your veins. If it wasn't for that, I would have sent you to the afterlife. You were gonna follow your mother." And he puts him in a prison and says, "I'm gonna tell the whole world that my son has passed away." He didn't just simply do that. He literally even put a mask on his head. I don't think that it is even a mask. It's a cage on his head. And by luck, he got a chance to escape. But before he escaped, his father said, "Hey, look, wherever you go, just don't say you are my son." And with the help of his sister, he gets to go away and run away from his family. By luck or chance, he gets on a ship where he's working as a chore boy. While on that ship gets attacked by the Zeph pirates. And on that whole situation that was happening, Sanji says something that, "Hey, I don't want to leave this earth yet because I still have to find the All Blue," which is where the relationship between Sanji and Zeph starts. Because Zeph is like, "Wait, how does this kid know about the All Blue? Because I also wanted to find the All Blue." And from that moment, Zeph saves Sanji's life. He literally sacrifices his leg so that Sanji survives. He gave him food. And now, I feel like because we didn't get every single second that Sanji and Zeph spent at the Baratie, I believe this was at the moment where they were still starting. It was only the two of them. Zeph asked Sanji, "Why do you love cooking?" And Sanji told him that he's been cooking ever since he was young. And he asked him, "Has anyone ever tasted your food?" Because remember, Zeph found Sanji while he was still young. A lot of people, even I, wouldn't have tried a food that was prepared by a young child. So he asks, "Since you said you loved cooking since you were young, have you ever gave your food to somebody else?" And Sanji's response is, "Yes, my mother used to love my food." And from that moment, that also becomes another turning point in Sanji's life, because I believe he told Zeph his whole story about the family, about how his brothers and his father didn't like him, and how the only two people that liked him were his mother and his sister. That's where they started to establish this rule of a man never puts his hand on a woman. Because remember, the two people that literally liked Sanji were women. And I believe this is where Sanji said, "Okay, because Zeph sacrificed so much for me and he's telling me in accordance to the story that I told him about my past, I'm definitely gonna do this. I'm not gonna put my hands on a woman." So I believe this is a good thing, right? It's a good moral code. However, this is what holds Sanji back. Look at it this way. It's good to have boundaries on about the things that you want to do and the things that you don't want to do. And Gaban said he feels that Sanji there's something that is holding him back. And the main thing that is holding him back is acceptance. Sanji needs to accept that there are good people and there are bad people. And in an individual, there are also two sides. He has to accept to himself that he is capable of being a bad person. And this doesn't mean that they just go around, or he just goes around putting his hands on everybody on his hands. No, it means that when it's time to fight, I'm gonna fight no matter who stands in my way. We have to also understand what is conqueror's haki. Conqueror's haki, you can only have it when you don't have doubt in your mind. Let's take it on the first few chapters where we meet Luffy. Luffy says, I'm gonna be king of the pirates. And Kobe says, hey bro, do you know what that means? Do you know how many people want that? And Luffy says, look, I don't care how many people want that. I don't care if I lose my life chasing that. But that is my ultimate goal. You understand? That means you don't have to have doubt in your mind. This doesn't mean you have to be ignorant to the fact that there are stronger people. No, it means you're saying, no matter who stands in my way, I'm going to put my hands on them. And Sanji lacks that. Let's focus on Zoro. Zoro grew up being defeated by Kuina, who is a lady. And this shaped Zoro to believe that, hey, women are not weak. So with Zoro having Conqueror's haki, he understands that, hey, whoever puts a sword up against me is my enemy, and I'm gonna go all in. It doesn't matter if it's a woman or it's a man. And Sanji lacks that because of his past. He has to understand that there are terrible women that he has to put hands on them. You understand? And he has to also understand, I like the fact that the Straw Hats don't just go around putting hands on everybody they meet. They're just living their lives, and if you stand in their way, then you're gonna get clapped. Sanji lacks that. Remember I told y'all, back in Enies Lobby, Sanji was fighting Khalifa, and he did nothing because of his moral code. That's something that is holding him back. Even in Wano, Black Maria had him, and Sanji had the capability to free himself. But because of his moral code of saying, I'm not gonna put my hands on a woman, that is what is holding him back. Right now we are in Elbaf, and he's saying he cannot put his hands on the rain goddess. That is another thing that is holding him back. Sanji has to accept the fact that, hey, at a certain point, I have to put hands on anybody who stands in my way. And Sanji also has to accept the fact that he has Gemma genes in his body. He can be, and one thing he also has to understand with him, I feel like he is more powerful than his siblings because he has a switch to his feelings. He can turn off the monster switch and become a human being, while his brothers cannot. With that, Sanji has to accept that he has those genes, and when it's time to use them, he has to use them. Everybody has two sides. Sanji has to understand it. And when it's time to pick the darker side, that's when he's gonna get Conqueror's haki. But before he understands the fact that it's all within him, it's all within him, the good, the bad, and the ugly, it's all within him, he will never get Conqueror's haki. Because the people that have Conqueror's haki is not that they don't have limits. It's more about saying, whoever stands in my way, they get clapped. Let's look at Shanks for example. He laughed when they spilled beer on his head. That didn't mean he was weak. It meant that he knew that, hey, there's some fights that are just pointless. But when it's time to lock in, I can lock in on anybody. On literally anybody. Sanji needs to accept that, hey, there's some women that need to be clapped and there are women that need to be protected. That's when he's gonna get Conqueror's haki. And I believe the first thing that he's gonna do in Elbaf right now, he's gonna kick the rain goddess to free the kids first. But besides that, he's not gonna get Conqueror's Haki.